Hey guys, what's up? It's Shla coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Shla. And I really thought today that I was hitting it on time, but I don't think that's really going to be the case. I also am realizing that as we get more into the winter, the video is not even going to make any sense. I don't even know how I'm going to record, because it's too dark. It's going to be way too dark for possibly most of the year. And so it kind of completely defeats the purpose of having the camera, honestly. But I think I still leave it there as a backup recording for the audio in case there was ever any issues with loss. That's obviously something to consider. I think it's a pretty good reason. Now, what was I going to get into? I don't know. I mean, it's more of the same old. I still feel like I'm dealing with understanding just how low people go when it comes to things. And I think it makes the world a scary place. And I know I guess I shouldn't be projecting that, but it's just, I don't know. To me now, and as I've gotten older, it just seems more and more scary. The world. People are not willing to listen. And I think that we're living in a time where, like I said, I do believe that my comprehension of things is just, it's so ahead of the curve, and I know it might sound egotistical, but I'm not saying this from a pride perspective. It's just true. The way I comprehend things is unmatched. And I'm realizing too that for the amount of people in my life that have always told me statistics don't matter, experience matters, I've actually never met a person who even cares about statistics like I do. That's the thing that's crazy. I don't ever meet people referencing statistics. So it's definitely a minority. I think most people do base things off experience, and I think experience is important. I used to think it had zero importance when I was, a teenager and stuff. I just didn't think it had much importance. I didn't think experience made sense, and I've explained this before. It's because it's subjective. There's not really truth in experience. There's just a chance that your experience overlaps with what another person experiences. And then in that case, it's valid. But what if you're neurotypical? I just want to blurt this out randomly, but I think that is what I'm starting to realize, is that I honestly think the older I've gotten and grown into myself, I think I'm more at peace with who I am. I think I'm finding myself, which is, it's an important thing. But, I think the problem with that is a lot of it hedges on my job and having the job as an outlet. I think I'm kind of, I shouldn't be worried, but I'm worried that things could happen where I lose it or something. But I guess I shouldn't be. Because I'm just so many aspects of my life are good, and it's the people in it who are closest to me that are causing the problems, and it's always been that way. And I guess I have to try to not say that and not admit that and get that to a higher level. I need to be more forgiving and more positive, like I am with the other areas of my life. But it's the comprehension of things, and it scares me, because again, for some reason when I'm guessing, I'm plotting it at about a generous 15% of people. I don't think that many people care about statistics at all. Like, I don't think it's relevant. I don't think they care about other people. I don't think they care about understanding other people. I don't think they care about understanding society, and everything just comes down to experience. And it sounds smart, but it ultimately makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, and I used to think it did, and I used to think, oh, well, there's a balance. I'm not sure I believe that anymore. Because here's the thing, the only way experience matters is for yourself and your own peace. Meaning, you can be worried or stressed about things, but what if you do get lucky? Then all the worry and stress becomes meaningless, right? Like, you just shouldn't have bothered being worried or stressed. And I've talked about that before, and that's where experience has mattered to me, but that's not a universal sentiment. I think most people in life are not living fulfilled lives. I think most people don't. I don't think they achieve a level of satisfaction. I think, especially nowadays, so much of it is rooted in money. So many people are, like, in order to have a good life, you have to be extremely rich. And so many people are ignorant to cost and efficiency and things like that. And that's the whole problem is, it's a lot of just completely unreasonable expectations. And I guess I'm talking about relationships, since most people do want a relationship. So I'm saying a lot of people just are not, they're expecting way too much. And then in addition to that, you have systemic issues where if you're in the working class, you can't really get out of that anymore unless, you really did, I guess, if you worked all the time. Because even now, my job wouldn't do it, but if I worked Saturday as well, 6 days a week, every week, 12-hour shifts, I think I would actually be able to get ahead. But no, I think, yeah, and I was going to say I'd be able to get ahead even with rent. I think so. I think if you work 72 hours a week, assuming that the 32 are overtime, and well, actually 12 of them would be double time. I'm pretty sure that would like definitely, I'd be completely satisfied with the amount of money I was making. But the whole problem is, again, where are you going to find a company that's even going to let you do that? So you have to hop around, and then it's putting a bunch of wear on your car, costing you a lot of money with the car, driving to multiple different jobs. I mean, it just becomes unreasonable, right? That's the whole issue. Is it's theoretically in America you can still make it, but I think without overtime you'd probably have to work 80 hours a week to really get anything reasonable. If you're just working class, like you don't have any credentials or any special jobs, like if you'd need to work that long. And that's the whole problem, is finding a place that would give you 12-hour shifts, or probably even 13, because I could probably do a 13-hour shift if my commute was shorter. So it kind of depends. Like I do think I could handle a 13, but I have to kind of keep it at 12 because my commute is, I mean, I don't think it's grossly above average. Like some people have similar or longer commutes to me, but it's worse than it could be. The commute is definitely a part of the job that I don't like, but I've transmuted it. So now it's an opportunity for me. It's a way for me to collect my thoughts. And I've said this before, but I'm just repeating it because of how positive it is and how grateful I am that I came up with this idea, because it makes it bearable. I think I'll probably always look back at these moments and be able to watch them again with, it's going to be interesting. I really do. I think it's interesting to see that. So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways life is a lot about perspective, but that is the brutal truth, is that you basically, in America, if you really want to succeed and you're working class, you basically would just have to be working every second of your day and also never really treating yourself for like 10 years. Assuming that you have to pay rent and you have to, you're just working class, you're just working a regular job. It's possible, but yeah, you'd probably have to be working like 80 hours a week. You'd probably have to work 7 days a week, 80 hours, and yeah, it's brutal. And it wasn't always like that. I think that's the important thing, and I think where it's frustrating is there was a time where that wasn't necessary. Now, I think to kind of play the Peter Thiel angle of it, which I keep referring to him. I mean, I don't know if he actually agrees with any of this stuff, but I think you guys get the gist of, I'm talking about this kind of like modern inequality that we see. To figure out the reason for that, and I've mentioned it before, we're in a situation where, because of technology, even with the pinches that already occur, a lot of people just don't care and are just completely deluded in fantasy. I would even say it's possible that most young people are like that. I think most young people now, even if the economy was better, I don't know if it would matter. Like, I think a lot of people would still be miserable because, well, no, I think I've said this before. If the economy was as good as it was in the 60s and 70s, people would be happier, for certain. I that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, there's definitely problems with that, and people would be happy, but would everybody be happier? Absolutely not. I still think that even if the economy had stayed just as good, you would still have a lot of very miserable people nowadays. Because a lot of the issues don't come down to money. Because even if people had more money, they still don't care about eating healthy. They still don't care about exercising. Like, I don't think exercise would change that much with more money, other than the fact that, well, yeah, people might go out shopping more, so there would be marginal gains in exercise. I think if you had more money, people would want to go out more, maybe travel more, things like that. But that's all marginal. That's not, you still, people would not be reaching like a sufficient amount of exercise. I don't think if the economy got better, people would wise up and just start going to the gym more. I don't think if the economy got better, people would start running and being like a, you see what I'm getting at? Like, a lot of these problems, they seem to be due to unrestricted technology. They don't seem to be exclusively due to economic factors. Also human ignorance, not just unrestricted technology, because as I've found, people have a very low comprehension of nutrition and how it works. Some people would still think what I'm doing is unhealthy, which, doesn't make any sense at all, but it's just like, I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm getting at, I think, is I don't think the money, that is not the problem. Like, the problem is not money. But I was going to say, too, that, again, I'm in a fortunate situation because my parents are still technically middle class. Like, I would assume now, like, what I would say is if somebody owns their home, that's probably the main differentiator with middle class. Like, I mean, it sort of depends. Some people, obviously there are some people who probably rent who are pretty rich, but okay, what? Dude. I'm sorry, I'm just like, this is crazy. I know, I have to stop getting upset with people not driving right. There are some wealthy people who rent, but I'm saying kind of as a baseline, I think if you have a paid off house, that you're middle class, because like, we're not rich and we don't have extra money, but like all the bills get paid. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's kind of the distinction for the modern middle class. Now, in the past, the middle class was, oh, you get to buy a Buick instead of a Chevy. You get like slightly nicer things, but you can't afford a Cadillac, but you could afford yourself a nice Buick. You see what I mean? Like, that was middle class before. I think middle class present is just like owning a home, not being in debt. You see what I'm like? There's a difference. Not rich, like we, never restaurants, never takeout. We can't afford luxuries, but not in debt. Like no unpaid bills, right? That's like the modern day, what I would consider middle class. And then obviously the lower classes are people who have chronic debt, don't own a home, all that kind of stuff. I'm not even sure what was my intention in talking about any of this stuff. Like, I don't know what was the point. It's interesting. I always end up doing that. I talk about so many things. I think it'll come in handy in the future. I think even in the present, it's not like it's a palatable talking style. It's just if anything, it's not switchy enough. Like I'm not getting caught off topic enough. Because if I could just create a video that was like multiple shorts, that would be very palatable. So I think it's definitely palatable. But I think it goes back to what I'm saying with a generous 15% of people who would actually care about statistics. Most people don't, and they act like they're special for it, and they're just not. Like, that's the truth of it. Yeah, because that was the original. This episode was originally about it was originally about experience versus statistic, and how it sounds like good advice, but I don't know, maybe people don't explain it properly. Maybe people are just like, maybe that's what people meant when they said the experience thing, because experience is true subjectively. Like, a lot of the worry I had, I just didn't need to have. Right? But then to say that nobody should, that just doesn't make any sense. Because if you look at statistics, you can see that most people should be very worried. Like, it's just true with what's going on economically. Most people should just be worried. Like, that's not untrue. But then you get into, well, in your day-to-day regular life, what if nothing bad ever happened to you? How productive would it be to worry? And in that sense, it's true. In that sense, it's true to just... But see, to say that is living by experience, I don't think is particularly accurate. So, I don't know. I don't think it's that accurate. But yeah, maybe people just don't really, like, they're not saying it right. But no, I do just think people don't like stats. I don't know. I don't know if it bothers people or what it does. Because that's always, whenever I would tell my dad, that's what, oh, you have to actually go out and experience things. But the thing is, even, because then when I have experienced things, I still feel like I haven't, like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm in the real world, but I still feel like my situation is better than most people's. So what kind of experience is that? Like, it's not objective. And then I wonder what could be said to that. It's just crazy. But yeah, I know we're trying to. We're trying to be more positive. I know that's been the theme, positivity. The thing is too that's interesting is this is not what I was going to talk about when we started the show. Like, it wasn't what I was thinking of. I think... What was I thinking of? I was probably thinking of one of the other things I talked about, but not that main premise. Oh no, it could have been the stats versus experience thing. Or I just completely forgot what I was going to talk about. That's entirely possible too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We're trying to. Oh no, there was probably definitely other thing. Yeah, there was. I think things were actually more of a negative tone, and what I actually ended up talking about was a little bit more neutral. I guess what I'm talking about isn't exactly positive, because it's dogging on other people a little bit. But I wish I didn't have to. I wish I just didn't have to, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, I think it's important. I just should focus on the good things in my life, and everybody should probably do the same. And I wonder how many people do that. Because I assume a lot of people don't, or the percentage has gone down. I have a feeling that there's a lot of people where, their morning ride to work and their nighttime commute home are not this productive. Which I guess, who knows how productive this really is, but it seems productive to me. Like I feel like a lot of times I get something out of talking, whereas I could just be listening to music. And I'm assuming that's what a lot of people do. I think more people spend time in silence or having unproductive thoughts, like just random noise, I think. I think the amount of time that I spend on productive thoughts is very high. Because there's obviously nonsense as well, but with this show, no, you've seen goofier episodes. I haven't really been like that in a while, though, that is true. I've really been, I guess I've been beaten down recently, so I know there were earlier car rides with Schloss that were super great. I really was like off the walls, and it was cool. But I don't know. Now it seems like it's been so long since that happened. It's kind of upsetting, honestly. It just is. And I thought more episodes would be like that, but it is true. I've obviously been going through some stuff since then. Because I do remember back then. So maybe I'm not reconciling with some things. Because that was really the whole point, is I wanted to... don't get me wrong. These episodes are fine. They're potentially what I'm better suited for. But I'm saying I'm not coming out of episodes feeling like joy necessarily. It's just not like like some of those episodes that I really had fun with. I mean, I would be in a great mood afterwards, and I think my voice has that potential. So I don't know why I haven't been able to get there. Again, like it's obviously been a pretty long time. I haven't really thought about it, I guess it's just been so long, but some of those episodes were really... I think it was just exciting to have an outlet, and then now it's not, but I don't know that that's the only thing, because at the same time, I think me as a person, like, I haven't really had those kind of moments. But I need to try to be happier and more and maybe we can get back to that point. Because, yeah, things changed. I mean, in the beginning, a lot of episodes were crazier. I remember, I think I was in, like, kind of a better headspace, as crazy as that sounds, because the person who I was back then, it's just evident, like, it's obvious that things are different, and what led up to that and everything. A lot of change has happened. Yeah, I know that wasn't too coherent, and then I had to take a break from talking and space out for a little bit there. It's a shame to think about, but I want to start to try to rebuild myself. Because it's just been a while. I mean, I really used to have fun with these. I remember it. I think I need a little bit of mania to be at that point. I don't know if without the mania I get like that. I think the way I've been for a while now is a more accurate portrayal of myself, and it just seemed the way it was. That's just how it happened to be at that point. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah, I mean, that's what I think. I think that you need a little bit of mania in order to get me like that. I won't just do that for no reason. But that's the whole problem. I mean, I think being a looser person would be within my best interest. Being more chill, being more lenient with things. I mean, that's really the main kind of thing I think I have to contend with. Still can't get over people and these short lights. I don't know why they were designed that way, but I guess we have to just not, because that already was a problem. That I even pointed that out, it wasn't positive. So I guess I just need to react to them anyway, and then that will increase my destined fate to hit better lights, I don't know. I guess that's the idea, right? I know, like, I'm having a hard time with the positive thing. I'm having a very, very hard time with it. So, well, I guess it's not that hard of a time, but I think even in this episode, but I liked this episode a lot. I really liked how it turned out, which I don't always say that. But I thought it was good. I thought yesterday's was good too. I don't know how that happens. Just randomly now I'm all good. Like, it just seems like, okay. Kind of crazy. But yeah, another day, right? Another day. What else is new? But yeah, it's important. I mean, I don't know, I guess when you're used to worrying as much as me, I'm seeing now the potential freedom in just not worrying about things. And how much it probably just doesn't even matter that much. In the grand scheme of it all. Things not... Oh, no, never mind. I was going to complain, but I didn't. And everything worked out fine anyway, so. I think that's kind of the main thing for me, is seeing that. It's looking at situations where you get upset, or at least I do. I get upset preemptively. And then they end up being fine. And then you're just thinking to yourself, like, why did I do that? Because then it's such a waste of energy to even have gotten upset. That's like the whole, why would you get upset about something when the thing ends up being fine? To me, I think that's one of the major things I've noticed, because that would happen, and it's I guess it's because I just automatically predict, and then, predictions can be accurate, but then a lot of times they're not, and then it's just like, I don't know. So, yeah. Well, guys, I think that's about it. Thank you for tuning in. And come back next week, same time, same channel. And no, I'm kind of joking. Alright. Alright, guys, it's been Schla, but now it's time to buy Schla. So, see you, Schla.